Alright, so you are ready to start recording your voice part of your book trailer in GarageBand. So the first part you're going to do is you're going to go down to Applications and you are going to find GarageBand. You're going to go ahead and launch GarageBand. You're going to be recording in the podcast track. So when GarageBand comes up, you're going to go ahead and select the podcast portion. Some of you may find that it's on something else. If this comes up, just go ahead and cancel it. If it's on piano, electric voice, make sure you select podcast. So you're going to choose podcast. This is where you're going to name it. At this point, I would name it something, well, you probably make the most sense to name it after your book. So I'm going to use the one that I did as an example, and the name of my book was Darkest Corner. I'm going to save this to the desktop. You don't have to worry about anything else here. Go ahead and click Create, and it will go ahead and give you the standard GarageBand scene for a podcast. Let's just talk really quickly about the tracks. This track right here is where you would put artwork if you were going to be using artwork. We're not going to use artwork for this one. We're only going to focus at this point right now on recording your voice. So here's where, if you're a guy, you're going to record here. If you're a girl, you're going to record here. So what I would suggest you do is make sure you have read through your script a couple of times, and then you're going to select which track you want to record on. So I'm going to select the female track. Now, if you notice right here, these bands that are moving back and forth, right there, that's telling me that it's picking up my voice. So it's going to be ready to record in a moment. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. So if you don't see that, then let someone know, myself or one of your teachers, so we know that we can go ahead and pull that back and take a look and make sure you're recording correctly. Once you're set, you're going to go ahead and push the red button. Now, make sure you have your script in front of you. I'm going to go ahead and read the first part for what I start off with the Darkest Corner. So I'm going to push the button, and I'm going to begin recording. Ever had a secret that keeps you awake at night, makes you question all you know and who you are? A secret that has the power to change lives forever? When you want to stop your track, you can go ahead and push the space bar, or you can click the little red button right here. Either one will work fine. Now, because we're going to be adding music to these later, what I would suggest you do is you start a few bars in. For example, maybe start right here at 5-second mark. You can move back and forth this red line by clicking up here on this gray bar right at the top. That'll move you back and forth in your podcast, in your recording. So we've got it started 5 seconds in. I'm going to now record my second part. So I can just put it right here, right at the end of the first part that I've recorded. I'm going to go back down here to the red button, and I'm going to click on that to start. Teddy is growing up in the 1960s in the South. Her best friend Stella is black, and Teddy is white. Now I have more, but I want to stop it right there just to show you what you can do. Let's say that I have made a mistake. In fact, let me go ahead and record and show you a mistake. They have done everything together for as long as they can remember. Oh, shoot, I didn't want to say that. Oops, okay, I just made a mistake. So here's what you would go ahead and do. You're going to back this up, and we can listen to it right now just by hitting the space bar. They have done everything together for as long as they can remember. Oh, shoot, I didn't want to say that. Oops, okay, I just made a mistake. So here's what you can do. You can either delete this entire track right here just by selecting it. See how this one is a darker purple than this one? This whole track is selected, so I can just use the delete key on my keyboard. Or, if you realize you don't want to get rid of the whole track, you go up here to edit. And this is a key that you are going to love. It is edit undo. Okay, so you go to edit, undo, click undo, and if you notice right here, the track came right back. So, if you decide that you like this first part here, but you don't like up until this part right here, you can go up to edit, split, and you can split the track. Now if you look at this, they're still connected. How you get rid of that is you click out, away from your track, click on the track again, hit delete, and you're ready to go. If at some point you want to select the whole track and put it all together into one piece, which we will end up doing later, you can go up to Edit, Select All. We'll select it all, and then you can go back to Edit and click Join. Now this has just made this one nice long track, but if you realize right here, you can see there's a huge gap in there. So let's say we want to take that big gap out. We do Edit, Split. I can do another Edit, Split, click out, click here, delete, move this together, and then I can go ahead and join the track again. You have to be careful though that you don't run up like this, because if you do that, you have just erased this part of the track. If you have any questions about how you record, just let me know. Now you're ready to move on and put music into your book trailer. So at this point, what you want to do is make sure you select a piece of music that's appropriate for the mood of your book trailer, for what it is that you are saying. So you're just going to use jingles from the GarageBand that's available. You're going to put them into this track right here, which is the jingles track. Now, how you get the music that GarageBand has is you're going to go down here to this little eye, the eye icon, right down here at the bottom of the page. So you can see that right there. All right, just that little eye. You're going to go ahead and you're going to click on the eye, and it's going to give you all these different things right here. So if you click on jingles, it's going to give you these different varieties. I tend to like the cinematic ones just because they're a little more spooky. This one, you can listen to the different songs that they have. This is a really good one. I like this one a lot. So once you find one that you like, all you have to do is take it from the list, drag it, and drop it right into your jingle track. Just as you've seen in other things, it's really important to have the right music set this, but it's also important to make sure that your music is not going to overpower your voice, because once again, what you're saying is really important. So here's how you're going to manipulate that. Like I said earlier, we want to start about 5 seconds in. So you go ahead and you move your little line right here. Make sure that this is, your whole track has been moved. So you've got about 5 seconds. You may decide you want more depending on what you're going to have. If you're going to have a lot of pictures starting it off or something like that, that might make you think, ooh, I want to have a lot more music come in. If that's the case, then make sure you give yourself longer. I'm going to give myself about 5 seconds. I don't want a huge lead in for my music. These I'm going to have pictures right away. So here's what we're going to do. You want to click so that this is highlighted, and then you come over here to this little guy, this little down arrow. This is going to help you figure out how the level of volume on your music, on your jingle. When you see this double line come up here, you move your red bar, and just where the pointer is, you just click on the mouse. This is going to give you a dot that you can move up and down that will lower the volume up or down. So what I tend to do is try and make the music fade out when my voice starts speaking. So I'm going to put another dot right here, and I'm going to pull that music down. Now when you listen to this, ever have a secret that keeps you awake at night? Now maybe that pulled down a little too dramatically, so I'm going to pull it up a little bit. I'm going to stretch out that. So let's listen to that again. Ever have a secret that keeps you awake at night, makes you question all you know and who you are? A secret that has the power to change lives forever. Okay, so let's say you want to bring the music back up again because there's something really important that happens. So let's pull this back a little bit farther. And see how you can just move these little dots around. You can put these dots anywhere you want. Anytime you click, you're creating some dots. So let's see how it works just the opposite.
Lives forever. Teddy is growing up in the 1960s in the South. Her best friend Stella is black and Teddy is white.
So you can hear that music in the background. If we wanted to make it really loud, we could do this. Now just remember that if you do that, you're going to be competing with your voice. So I would suggest if you want to bring your music up or down depending on what's happening with your pictures, what's happening with your voice, that's what I would use that most often. Also keep in mind that you can also split your audio track the same way that you split your, you can split your jingle track the same way you split your audio track. So you can go right here, click out, click back in, oops, and you can move this down, okay? The last part for your book trailer in GarageBand that you're going to do is you're going to basically share this podcast that you've created, or basically we're talking about a music and video recording that you're going to be adding into iMovie. We're going to be sharing that with the iTunes library on the computer you're working on. This way, when you go into iMovie, it will show right up in the playlist and you won't have to go searching for it all over the place. So here's how we're going to do that. Now, remember, it will be important to stay on the same computer at this point. You can always save this GarageBand project, and you should in your server space. All right, so save this in your server space because you've been putting it on the desktop, and you can look right over here. That's the project I'm working on. That's how I know that it's on the desktop. So what you're going to do now, however, is you are going to share this. You are going to share it. Send podcast to iTunes. You're going to click on that. Now this is where you're going to name it something. So once again, I would name it the title of your book. I'm going to add this in here because I already have one entitled that from the one that I made. You could put your last name here if you want to put your last name. And then you can just go ahead and click share. At this point, it's going to be mixing your podcast, and you're going to be all set then to start working and putting this into iMovie. Make sure that you don't touch the computer or do anything goofy with it while it's doing that. And you should then see it in a playlist, and you should be able to hear it start playing. And that's how you know that, yes, it went into iTunes and it should be in there just fine. So you can just pause it, go ahead and close it, and save this. Like I said, save it again. Make sure you save it to the desktop. Put your copy from the desktop into your server space. And then when you come back in and you start working on this computer with iMovie, it should show right up in iMovie.